Guys, I got this old beat up FMF fatty pipe that somebody spray painted before. So I'm going to try to make this RM250 look like a '89 model, just because I like the looks of it. It's got the blue frame and blue shock spring, and everything else looks like aluminum on the engine, and it's got a matte finish black stock pipe on it. You know, if you look at a photo of a stock '89 250. So that's the look I'm going for. Well, first of all, I sanded all the loose junk paint off of it. You can see the sand marks right there. I just went over the whole thing with some sandpaper, but I needed to dry it because I rinsed it off. You know, when I got done sanding it, I rinsed all the powder off of it, rinsed all the sanding spooge off of it, just to give it a good surface for the paint to stick to. So I need to accomplish two things with this old pipe. First, I need to burn it out and get all the old burned oil and gunk out of it. And second, I need to dry it and prep it for painting. But yeah, this pipe will smoke and burn for a little while. I just got one end of it sitting over top of that flame. That'll heat it up righteous, and that'll dry it off. You know, I work in the finest of environments and the finest of garages with all the fanciest of tools when I'm doing my stuff at home. So there's my custom pipe hanger. Paid 8,342 yen for that on international exchange. And I got $87 worth of special hold it up in the air and spray it wire. Now, what's my point, guys? My point is, you can do stuff at home. I don't want to hear you crying you don't have a garage. I don't want to hear y'all crying, oh, I don't have a garage. Oh, I don't have a garage. Well, grow up. Look at this pipe. What do you guys think? It's turning out to be a halfway decent looking matte black pipe. Is it going to be nice looking? No. Are you going to be able to see imperfections in it? Absolutely. Obviously. Am I going to put any more time into it to make it look any better than this? No, I'm not. Because I'm not so much lazy, but I just don't want to put a lot of time and effort into something that's never going to be worth anything financially. This bike's never going to be worth a lot of money. And this pipe in particular is never going to be a nice pipe, no matter what I do. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time and money with it. But will I take a few minutes and sand it down, knock the rough paint off of it, cook it out, get the soot out of the inside on an oven, dry it off, and then spray paint it with some high heat paint? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that with it. You betcha. And then you're supposed to heat it at some point to make it really cure, because it's high heat paint. But I'm not going to bother sticking it in the oven and all that and stinking up my house. You know, when you have a beautiful house, beautiful mansion as nice as this, you don't want it to smell bad. So I'm not going to bother putting the pipe in the oven. I'm just going to set it aside, and when I run the engine, that'll heat the pipe up. That'll finish cooking it. So, but I had a little bit left in the can, and I thought, well, I'll save that little bit just in case I got to touch it up later. In case I got to take my raw 2-stroke horsepower and go rubbing up on some fart sounding 450s or some weak little diminutive 4-strokes, government sponsored 4-strokes. Yeah, when the raw power of this 2-stroke goes by those guys, I might scrape it up. So you never know what I might rub this pipe on. I might rub it on somebody's boot or somebody's swing arm or somebody's helmet. I don't know. Might rub it on something. But if I scratch it up, I'll have a little bit left here to do what I got to do to touch her up. So I'm going to let it dry, and there you go. Hey guys, it's Christmas time in the middle of July. Look at this. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. What do you think, guys? That's as close to the RM blue as I could get with the catalog that he had. I think they call it Ford Prismatic True or something. I don't know. But look at that. Master cylinders blasted clean. That shock blasted clean. I got to unwrap the shaft. But yeah, look at how beautiful everything looks. Triples are gorgeous. I left that lower bearing on there to protect that lower seat, so it'll of course get new head bearings. But the shock body, And here's the swing arm. Look at that. It'll get new bearings too. Same thing, I left them there just to protect the bore, but I got new bearings to press in there. Nice, pretty clean swing arm. And here's the hollow engine assembly that I threw together real quick just to get them, you know, just blasted. I just taped off the little holes and put the shafts back in for the big holes. And during the blast process, we had a plug we jammed down in there just to keep extra sand from going up in the motor. So yeah, everything looks good. But yeah, I mean, I'm extremely happy with how pretty everything looks. So now it's just a matter of time of putting all the bearings in the chassis and reassembling it. Of course, I got to do a complete engine rebuild, crank bearings and all. I'm going to reuse the crank and the rod, but I'm going to put new bearings in it. Transmission all looked okay. Shift forks are good, drums good, pawls, ratchets good, everything's good. I'm going to reuse all the trans parts just like I reused all the power valve parts. That's all okay. Clutch is okay. I needed to add a new throwout bearing for it, but the plates and springs and baskets and pressure plates, all that look good. But look at that frame. Look at that spring. Look at those foot pegs. I mean, that's professional powder coating right there. Doug and American Supercars did this for me. And I'm not saying that to plug. I'm not trying to plug anybody. I'm just telling you who did it. Doug and American Supercars made it absolutely gorgeous. He did all the blast work for me too. So, alright, I'm going to start rebuilding this thing. Yeah, I got to go through and I got to clean that power valve system up. Two-strokes are awesome. They have the best power bands in the world. And they just make the most power per displacement as you can get out of a gasoline engine. The problem is everything has to work right. They're a little bit finicky, I won't lie. So yes, I think they're better, and yes, I choose to live with the finickiness to get the benefits of lighter weight and more power. But yeah, part of the process is making sure these power valves work correctly. What the purpose of this is, if you guys don't really know, some of you may not, a two-stroke doesn't use a cam to time its engine. It uses port height. You see inside the cylinder it has intake ports, and that's the main exhaust port. Well, in that exhaust port, I don't know if the camera's picking this up, there's a valve. See what I'm moving with my finger down there? That valve moves in and out based on RPM, and it changes timing on the engine. And that's part of the many things that work together to get a two-stroke to be so efficient and powerful and so lovely to ride. So problem is it's on the exhaust side of the cylinder, which is very, very hot, and when you mix two-stroke oil in the gasoline, you wind up with this residue, this burnt oily residue all over everything, and eventually it gums up. So they need cleaning and maintenance. So that's what I'm going to do to this cylinder. This is part of the tedious process of refurbishing a two-stroke and maintaining a two-stroke, is getting these valves and linkages, you know, the hip bone's connected to the knee bone kind of thing. A rod comes up out of the engine cases that's activated from a governor. I'll show you guys that in a later video, but it makes this lever go up and down like this. As that lever goes up and down, it turns that shaft. As that shaft gets rotated, it makes this valve go in and out. And right now, I can barely move it with my fingers, so yeah, it's just gummed up. Alright guys, if you're wondering why I'm taking a video in the kitchen, I know you all have girlfriends and wives and sisters back home that say, oh, you can't bring motorcycle parts in my kitchen. Well, this is my kitchen, and I work on whatever I want in my kitchen. There is no woman here to tell me I can't do it. So yes, that is my engine cylinder right next to my butter and my grapefruit juice canister right next to my sink. Yes, it is. So there it is.